In the ninja world, there are different clans. Different clans specialize in different things. Some clans have special perks thanks to their eyes being able to transform and do a lot of different ocular powers like the Uchiha. There's other clans that specialize in eyes too, like the Hyuga clan, for example. I bring up this a lot in my Naruto videos, but being a ninja in Naruto, being smart is basically power. Having the ability to catch on to stuff quickly and having high IQ and intellect can make you a powerful ninja in this world. That's basically Neji's case, because there's special techniques only learned in certain houses of the clans. He's not in the house that's supposed to learn it, but he learned such techniques just from looking at it alone, which is doggone inconceivable to most, even in the Hyuga clan. Let's talk about Neji from this clan. A big thing when it comes to their clan is their eyes. His eyes basically has transformations. You got the base form eyes, and then you got his powered up Byakugan eyes. When you see him like this, he's getting serious. There's a lot of jutsu you can learn, and there's a lot of jutsu you can't necessarily learn through training and hard work. This is called Kekkei Genkais. This Byakugan is the Kekkei Genkai exclusive to this clan in particular, and Neji. His eyes are like x-ray goggles, gives him dang near close to 360-degree vision. One can say this could help with combat speed without even facing necessarily the direction. Its only limitation having an extremely small blind spot, which is why he has defenses I'm going to go over in a bit that helps nullify this blind spot issue. If he wants to give himself better vision too, he can kind of enhance his area with chakra to detect trajectory, so it can help him avoid stuff too, but this takes a toll because emitting a heavy amount of chakra takes a toll. Since he knows his weakness better than anyone, he focuses his chakra into that blind point to make him miss. So he has ways to equal out his blind spot. But when you fight somebody like this, how you got time to even look for the blind spot? You know what I mean? When you getting blitzed. Bro legit can see all the way through human bodies. In the Naruto universe, using your inner energy known as chakra is important from doing jutsu for long range attacks, ninja magic type stuff. And Neji is basically an anti-ninja magic type character because he can kind of see your chakra with his eyes, and his fighting style, which is hand-to-hand combat taijutsu specializing, can shut down your chakra network because he can analyze it. And then his fighting style, the gentle fist fighting style, he uses his chakra in his gentle fist and shut down your chakra network. It also does blunt damage to your internal organs and all that good stuff, but also shutting down the stuff that helps you even do jutsu in the first place. This fighting style, alongside his eyesight and stuff put together, calls him the strongest taijutsu in the village. Someone Rock Lee's even worried about, despite Rock Lee being ridiculously fast. One of Orochimaru's henchmen called him the strongest out of the bunch when they was trying to save Sasuke during the early days. So you know Neji's a beast via writer intent and everything. Everybody has a chakra network, a series of vessels going throughout your body, and it's delicately intertwined with organs that manipulate chakra. That's why it causes injury to your organs as well as the chakra. Yeah, so it's kind of like a hack. It's kind of like cheating because Rock Lee's is more on the blunt side. His is more on the technical hack side. You can't increase the strength of your organs, so it's going to damage you no matter what. The best way to fight him is from a distance, if you can. He's one of those characters where it's smarter to fight him from far away, but he kind of, throughout his evolutions, he tried to find a way to break this weakness by developing techniques like the air palm to blast you from some distance away. The power of the eyes of the Byakugan user varies from person to person, but Neji just happens to be one of the best. Techniques in the Naruto universe that affect your mind, genjutsu type techniques to make illusions type stuff, even in cases that are not involving Neji, beings that use the Byakugan can see through genjutsu. This gives you an idea of what Neji's Byakugan can do, just general Byakugan user abilities. Most ninjas in Naruto that are top tier have really good chakra control, but Neji, thanks to his fighting style and stuff of that sort, that's something he specializes in, so he has a higher degree of chakra control than your average, or he can release chakra from any part of his body. That's proven when he's wrapped up in web, and he has techniques like this that can shoot it from every direction of his body to break out and get free. He has this technique called 8 trigram 64 palms, where he hits you with a whole bunch of attacks really fast succession. And he got his defense that protects from every angle by manipulating chakra while spinning. When it comes to his rotation, he can redirect attacks at the last second, if he sees it coming, of course, slowed his dagger. When it comes to his defense, there was even folk that even said it was a better absolute defense that was more powerful than even Gaara's. They said controlling chakra, even top tier Jonin can usually only utilize such chakra from a single body part at a time, like the hands or feet, but not Neji. He specializes in this all over his body, which is why he can do that 360 spin to give himself defense. Yeah, I think we all can agree that his combat speed is impressive. I mean, we all know how fast Rock Lee is, and when it comes to speed and everything, Rock Lee considers Neji a formidable foe. You know, during the early days when Naruto was struggling to understand the Nine-Tailed Fox's power, in this occasion, he was getting amped up by him. Naturally, since this is a point in Neji's career where he's pretty young, you would think this would be one-sided and overkill. But surprisingly, when it comes to his fighting speed against buffed up Naruto like this, Neji even acknowledges that he's quicker than before. But despite this massive boost, Neji's still able to keep up in speed. It just kind of gives you an idea of how fast he actually is in fighting speed, which makes sense on why Rock Lee was intimidated by him. Even when he's battle damaged and hurting in pain and agony, he can avoid attacks that have enough power and speed to go through all these trees it can go through, apparently, and he can still avoid it while he's exhausted and hurting. Attacks this fast, yeah. One can say this is battle IQ, lets himself get hit on purpose so he can use the gentle fist and channel it through an object, even if you're far away, to pretty much trace where you're at. Hit him that way to make him fall. When it comes to this particular technique, when it comes to speed blitzing, I actually like how the games portray it. They portray it in like a speed blitz type of fashion, which is accurate to the show, because he blitzes you with a whole bunch of attacks that locks down your chakra network before you even get a chance to react. Not to mention it actually does damage to you physically. Thanks to his eyes, his fighting speed can react against these attacks like this, for example, even if it's a volley of them, even chopping them up as they come to him. Even as this being's attack was coming at him while he was wrapped up, not only was he able to break free, but also dodge this same attack at the same time, while also getting free. You got to see his fighting speed when he doesn't do his rotation in this one particular occasion. He decided to hit all of these attacks one by one at a time. This gives you clear evidence of his fighting speed, doing the stance with all these spiders, just hitting them all, blitzing them all, because of his vision's 360, and he has a certain range. Within a certain radius, he can see everything. Basically, everything within 164 feet, he already knows you're coming. It's plenty of evidence of his fighting speed. Some of this stuff is just raw striking power mixed with the technical aspects of him shutting your chakra down, and then put on top of that, that's fighting speed, so Taijutsu. When Naruto does this Shadow Clone Jutsu technique, outnumber him simply won't work. He's overwhelmingly faster than Naruto at this point in time, so it doesn't make a difference that you have this many clones, parrying and handling all of these clones. Look how much damage he does when he hits the real body. Probably Neji's best fight in the entire series, fighting his being on his Kidomaru in the first series. This guy that was like a spider type ninja type stuff, trying to trap Neji with all these webs, but he can enhance his strikes with chakra to cut through the chakra enhanced web. Webs that are ridiculously strong, to the point where even elephants pulling on them can't snap them, because these strands have chakra mixed up in it, a mix of spit and chakra. And Neji's strikes can rip these or cut through them, let you know his striking power. A reaction and striking power feat, cutting up this web, that's mid-flight. This gives you an idea of how his control and precision. They talk about how his precision with his chakra and his fingers is razor sharp, knowing exactly where to strike. One could say this is a speed and like raw power output striking power feat. Doing this technique, 8 trigram 64 palms technique against this being known as Kidomaru. Hitting him so hard to where he lands against this tree, cracking him out of that tree with his striking power. This attack was powerful, and it would have did him in if he didn't have some special armor on that blocks chakra. It doesn't let chakra through. This pretty much means even while young, he can definitely collapse trees with a few strikes. Even large trees, he can collapse with a few strikes, or just knock a hole through a big structure like this as a bare minimum. We've seen big spiders like this, for example, in his fight with Kidomaru. We see Neji hit such a big spider with his strikes to show that he can affect big entities. The technique I brought up earlier of him rotating was his ultimate defense, but one could say he can be used for offense. For example, like when all this stuff's coming at him, he can deflect it. I mean, look what him using his chakra to rotate does to the ground. You can kind of see the destructive capacity he can produce by what he does to the ground. But I think we all can agree one of Neji's best feats of all time is when he was fighting Naruto. You remember how Naruto in his younger days would have the moments where little pieces of the Nine Tails would come out to help him fight. This form in particular, when it comes to Naruto, Neji battled a Naruto that was strong enough to do this to 1,000-ton snakes. Like, before he went tail mode right here, you can see what he does to the ground. It was even shown here, Naruto was using some of the chakra of the fox itself. Their two chakras clash, and it created a huge shockwave explosion through their clash. After that clash, he still gets up. Yeah, it's like defense and offense, because during that clash, Naruto got pushed back. Or did he? And that's when Naruto kind of got the advantage over him. You get it? Yeah, but that's Naruto, though. Pretty much put him to sleep. Just a quick reminder that that form that he clashed with and didn't get completely one-shotted until he got hit off guard, of course, was able to do stuff like this. I would also like to add that snakes that big that Naruto can stop in their tracks when he was powered up by Kurama, their weight alone can crush castles. Just to give you a ballpark of how impressive this is basically the equivalent of Neji clashing with castle-esque level of force. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Let's put it this way. If a big old castle was compact and was falling, he would be able to stop the weight of it. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. That shows his offense and defense kind of help out one another. If you don't have no special type of defense to this chakra type gentle fist, if he's just bloodlusted on this occasion, for example, he can just one hit you, murk you, one shot style. But luckily, weakness of being able to always being near somebody, he'd strive to overcome that weakness when he got older. Like I mentioned earlier with his air palm attack, like him and Hinata can both do from longer range. Like in this occasion during Shippuden, when he was older, he was in a water prison, he was able to bust out. Being grabbed from behind, he would just blast out. But probably one of the better ways to understand his might as a bare minimum is when we start getting into this Akatsuki organization. Like an Akatsuki member that has some impressive physical strength. With his air palm, he was able to blast backwards. It was something slight, nothing too serious though. Somebody that's physically strong enough to have somebody like Might Guy on the ropes. You know, the guy that's pretty much like Rock Lee, but an adult version, a being that specializes in taijutsu and physicals. Then if we're talking about the fourth great Shinobi war, just like Hinata, he should be comparable to her at the very least, and he can fight alongside her. Hinata got some pretty good showings in this Shinobi war. What are the limits of Neji's rotation? I mean, how much can it withstand? Okay, so you know how in Naruto, there's like a whole bunch of tail beasts, right? But can you imagine all these tail beasts' power in one being? You don't have to imagine no further. That's the 10 tails. Tell me why, in this occasion with the 10 tail, yeah, it's kind of scary. Working together with another Hyuga clan member, he was able to repel an attack from the 10 tails. What? Everybody else was even shocked, like, wait a minute, what? He did have 8 in this occasion, but it was literally only 2 of them. This is how blast when a whole bunch of tail beasts collide their blast together looks. Like, it's big as an island, right? Tell me why the 10 tails is so mighty, blast that can level mountains and islands with ease, like the 8 tails, finger flicks the attack away. Like, yeah, let you know how physically strong the tail beast is. Neji repelled an attack from this entity, a being that can probably split an entire country in half, guys. While it is definitely true he had help, this is insane still, considering he doesn't have tail beast chakra or no Sage of Six Paths BS or nothing. It's basically proving he can repel attacks that can split islands in half. Not to mention the 10 tails itself is just massive in comparison. Yeah, I'm not saying he's anywhere near the level of 10 tails or nothing, but it's just cool to see him reflect an attack from something like this with help. That's like saying all he has to do is rotate, and a huge mountain can fall on him, but his rotation will stop it or protect him from this big debris or mountain falling on him or something. Remember earlier in the vid where I showed it was stated that when it comes to his rotation, it's better than Gaara's ultimate defense in the early part of this vid? I would have loved to see these two fight to see how this statement actually matches up, to see if it's actually true or not, but let's just say it is true for now. But wait, that statement was said during the part of the series where Gaara and Neji were younger, so we don't really know if he's ultimate defense is up there with Gaara's in part 2 or later on in Shippuden or later on in the series. Well, even if we don't bring up anything from Gaara when he was like older or anything, Gaara's sand defenses even in part 1 was still impressive. Gaara had an incredible ability to make a whole bunch of sand and manipulate it like a sand tsunami. Gaara in the first series could produce this much sand to flood an entire town basically if he felt like it, then crush you with it and stuff. But then if you want to take his statement serious about him just having better defense over Gaara, even if we count part 2 stuff or Shippuden stuff, you remember when Gaara blocked an attack from a Rikage, the being that's a tail beast level being? Maybe they wasn't talking about the second series when it comes to the ultimate defense, because that would mean Neji could withstand something like this, like what Deidara did to this village, for example, and Gaara was able to block it, like a nuke blocking it. So do you think that statement about him having better defense than Gaara is true? Gaara's defense is kind of crazy though. He can kind of like protect the whole village or city from super crazy explosions and crap. But if that statement is true, that would mean Neji rotation can shield from attacks that can pretty much nuke an entire village. What do you think about that? Do you think he can shield from village or city leveling attacks? I want to hear what you guys think about that. I mean, even in the newest data book, they talk about his absolute defense, about how he was able to deflect or parry an attack from the 10 tails. So that statement about it being better than Gaara's might be true. Who knows? We all know the 10 tails are stronger than Gaara, but that's none of my business. When they was fighting 10 tails clone minions, we saw Hinata doing pretty well. I'm assuming that Neji could do this as well, if she can do crazy stuff like this. But just like many other characters, he does lack screen time. How strong do you think Neji is? He's a ninja that had to take on his own clone before, but he's somebody that would definitely be a nightmare to fight. But what do you guys think? What is your favorite aspect about him? But before I get going, I gotta say thanks for the donations, everybody. Helps out a lot. Respect Neji. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.